Welcome to New Jersey Paranormal. I'm John Ruggiero. I'm here with my teammate today, Chris, and in this episode we're going to be featuring the WhiteHill Mansion in Fieldsboro, New Jersey. Chris, you know the WhiteHill Mansion has been featured on several paranormal programs, most recently Paranormal Lockdown. We were asked to come in and just sort of validate what's been validated over and over again. That building is an old building. That building has a lot of history. Why don't you talk a little bit about that history?
I'll talk about the history. It's embedded in a lot of history, too much to even just go over today. So we're just going to stick with what's really based on the most important of the history of the building. In 1722, Robert Fields, who was an orphan, bought 300 acres, and he built a 1.5-story house on it, which is the WhiteHill Mansion.
And that was the one house.
That was the one house. Later on, his second son, Robert II, inherited it in 1957, and in 1960 he actually expanded the house that was rumored to have had an existing house that was next to, and he built another middle house that actually connected all three, and that's the building that we have today. He goes on later and he marries Mary Peel, and they both were passive resistance to the British, and Robert actually was rumored to mysteriously have died on the Delaware River coming back from a meeting in PA. Mary inherited everything, and she was very cunning and smart, because the British actually showed up because one of her neighbors had reported her as being against the British.
Right.
So they came to her house, and she actually turned her home over to them for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So the house and the family play a big part in the Revolutionary War. And it's also, later on, she passes it on to her son.
Robert III.
And that's the Robert III. Right. Robert III actually ends up losing the home later on, but somebody in the family goes and buys it back, and then that's how it starts with that. But the interesting thing about the home was it was rumored to be a bordello. It was actually in the Prohibitionary time. It was a secret place to go and have alcohol. They had a restaurant on the top floor.
Right.
And if you knew about it, which everybody kind of knew about.
And they said politicians,
mafia, you
right.
name it. All of the big heads would go there, and they just go downstairs.
Senators, everybody was there, and they would go downstairs, have drinks.
They'd have drinks. They'd gamble. They'd have the bordello that
right.
was upstairs, and there was a secret passage to go up to the bordello. But interestingly enough, they actually uncovered that there was a secret tunnel that goes from the bottom of the basement
right.
all the way to the Delaware River.
Right.
So for the investigation reasons, there's a lot of history, so much more than I could cover, but for that aspect, it was really important. The other interesting thing, the third Robert right. marries a Stockton, who is Richard Stockton, who was original signer of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, it is definitely.
And his wife, who was a poet, died in that house.
Yeah, there's a lot of history there. So we were asked to come in by Loretta, who's the director, and Dawn, who actually runs their paranormal type events for the WhiteHill Mansion. And I sat down with both of them, and we had a conversation about the numerous amount of claims and evidence that people have captured through the years, and we'll watch that interview. What were some of the first things that you experienced here that were?
This room alone,
okay.
I've picked up several disembodied voices in here,
really? Okay.
Female and male. Basically, what are you doing here? Please introduce.
These are on recorders?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have all these on tape.
Okay.
Please introduce, which I thought was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I just walked into somebody else's
Clear,
house.
or are they sort of distant whisper?
No,
they're pretty clear.
No,
Oh, wow.
like standing right next to you.
Yep.
Yep. You will hear voices coming from the other side of the house. You'll go to the other side of the house. There's nobody there. You'll be walking in a room. Somebody will tap you on the shoulder.
Tell them about the time we were sitting in the basement. There was something going on down there.
Well, you had mentioned the vase down in the
Oh yeah. Wait, there's so many.
That story was really it with the necklace and the.
Well, okay. The first time it happened, I don't know. Whatever's down in the basement doesn't like me very much.
What do you think? Man, woman, or something?
I think it's a man.
Okay.
It's just a feeling I get. But we had an event up here, and I needed a screwdriver. So I've learned not to go down the basement by myself, not because I'm technically afraid, but because if something happens, I like to have a witness.
Right.
It makes me think I'm not crazy.
Right.
So, the other volunteers came downstairs with me, and I ran behind the bar, opened up a drawer to look to see if there was a screwdriver, and one of the plastic vases on the bar bounced off the wall in front of me.
Did the others witnesses?
No, they were both on their phones.
Yeah,
so
of course.
they did not see
Did
it.
it fly off? Like
Well,
someone
from my
had threw it,
perspective,
or
my
did it
head
look like
was
someone
down.
pushed it off? I mean,
It's hard to
really
say
tell.
because of the way the bar is. If you look down there, which hopefully you'll see later,
Right.
it has a big lip on it.
Okay.
So we've played with it, trying to knock it over. Even if there's no wind down there, but even
Right.
if there's wind, you tip it, it'll just fall straight down.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was really interesting. I think it was probably a year later when I was given a tour. I was wearing a necklace. It was a beaded necklace, and I had my name tag on it. And I was excited because I just found this necklace. I thought it was adorable. And so I had a tour of about 15 people. We were down. I always go behind the bar to tell the story of the speakeasy.
Okay.
And I felt a pressure on the back of my neck, and then the necklace just exploded with beads.
Like a
everywhere.
squeeze, or
Like somebody was pulling on my necklace. You know, I could
And
feel
then
the
it
pressure of the
actually
necklace.
snapped.
And then it snapped and the beads went everywhere. So I gathered up the beads and just kept talking. I didn't want everyone to panic because maybe I did it somehow, I don't know. But I was feeling under the bar while I was talking, trying to find a nail to see maybe,
right,
you know.
got stuck on it, or
Yeah, and after the tour they said, what happened? I said, I don't really know. And I said, maybe I moved and it got caught on something. And they're like, you didn't move.
But you said you had mediums in here. To what's their
Right.
question? Did they give you a period of who's here, how many's here,
Pick a
why they're
period.
here? I mean, did they ever give you an idea of names? Or
I do hear
times?
the same stories over
Okay,
and
what
over
kind of
again.
stories?
There's a gentleman probably from the 20s, 1920s, in a pinstripe suit.
He's
Why?
the only one I've seen.
Why
Yeah.
is he here? Did he live here? Did he live around here? Did he?
We don't really know.
Okay.
I don't think he lived here.
Okay.
I think he might have been here during the Bordello time.
He's definitely a prankster. Like the kind of guy that'll shut the door behind you.
That's happened.
Yeah, yeah. I know my husband had his neck squeezed, like something.
Gotcha.
He came up behind him and squeezed his neck. That's pretty much what he did.
But you mentioned doors have doors open and closed. Have you seen that yourself?
I've heard it.
We've heard it.
I've never
We're-
actually seen one.
So you'd be somewhere else, and
The thing we were downstairs sitting on the stairs, and there was an event going on, and that's when Bud said, I'm gonna go home, because the kids are by themselves. Her husband said he was leaving because their children were by themselves, and we heard him leave, and we're sitting there, and we hear what sounds like the door open, and we hear footsteps, and she says to me, oh, he must have forgot something. So we sat there, we waited, and he never came back down.
We had 20 people downstairs. We all
Yeah.
heard it.
Yeah, and so we came up to see.
Nobody here.
There's nobody here. So she called him and said, did you come back for something? He said, no, I'm halfway home.
oh wow.
Well, you
So-
see there's a long driveway.
Yeah.
You're not going to sneak in.
Is that common footsteps or not
Yeah.
really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
We hear them
We
a
had somebody from the historic board here.
Oh, that was
And you can hear footsteps coming upstairs. We just keep talking. We're
Yeah,
upstairs.
Yeah. That's
She gets that look on her
Yeah.
face like, did you hear that?
No.
Well, what about the bathtub? You told me a story about the bathtub that everyone seems to know.
It's conjecture.
Okay.
So a lot of people feel that somebody was murdered in the bathtub.
Okay.
So it's gotten a reputation that if you come ghost hunting here, you have to spend some time in the bathtub.
Okay.
And a lot of people have had some very strange stories. in
Yes.
there. I've experienced it myself, where you kind of feel otherworldly. Some people feel pressure, like being pushed down. Some
Okay.
people have felt pressure on their throat. Yeah.
So a lot of claims associated with that building. A lot of people had experiences there. Again, on the previous shows that that featured the WhiteHill, they captured a lot of evidence. So we came in, we set up, we put our cameras all around the building. We had all of our equipment, and we did capture a lot of evidence in that building. Probably too much to even cover in this episode. So the very first clip that we're going to talk about here is we'll start in the basement. The basement is where they said the vase flew off. She experienced her necklace being broken. We set up an object that's called the 360 periscope. And the way this works is it detects static electricity. It's got these little fingers all around it that light up different colors, and whichever way the static electricity is approaching this object, again, the theory is spirits are static electricity and electromagnetic energy. This device is going to let us know that something is approaching it and from which direction. I say out loud, I pan over with the camera, I say, if there's someone here, I have an object at the bar, can you interact with it? And something actually did. Got some objects on the bar that'll let us know you're sitting there. Oh, there you go. Look at that. See it? As soon as I said it. Look at it. See it? Look at that. All the way around. What's funny about that clip is that I thought it was me doing it for a second, and I actually approached it in another clip that we can't show with the camera again, and I went around it and it didn't react.
And that's also the same area and same bar that they used during the Prohibitionary times.
That's the original bar?
Yes.
Okay. This next clip here that we're going to see, the Ovilus. We know that the Ovilus is it's a box that has 2,000 words programmed into it. In theory, the spirits can manipulate the energy so that a spirit can pick out specific words in the box if it wants to communicate. Lo and behold, we're doing our, trying to get some kind of communication going, and Tanya, of all people, looks at the box, and what does it say?
It says Robert.
It says Robert. Let's see the clip.
1922. They dug it out another 3 feet to be able to put the bar in and everything.
It said Robert. Robert,
Get out of here.
It said Robert. All right. Maybe I should sit down.
Who drowned in the back?
Robert.
Get out of here.
And
That's
then his
crazy.
son, there's two Robert. Sons, Robert, 2 and 3.
His son was the one that drowned.
Now, we've used that device a bunch of times, and yes, there are times that it says random words that don't associate to anything that you're doing, yet what are the odds out of 2,000 words that name is going to come through and he drowned in the lake behind the building? What are the odds of that? So again, a really strange occurrence, and we just wanted to build upon that. So we used another device in this next clip called the EchoVox. Now the EchoVox is an app, and the way it works is that the app is programmed, it's loaded with phonics, which are sounds, just ah, ooh, ee, things like that. Theory is spirits are going to take those sounds and manipulate them into words. I tried a trick. This is the first time I've ever done this. They had dice on the table. They had playing cards on the table to simulate the mob people that were there playing poker in the bar. And I actually grabbed one of the dice, a die, and I held it up, and I said, "What number is this?" And we got a direct response right after I did it, and that's in this clip. Could you tell me what number this is that I'm holding up with the dice? What number is that?
Thank you.
Oh,
6.
That was
You're right.
real close. Did you hear
That
that?
was quick.
That was the first time I ever tried anything like that, and I was just as amazed. You can see by my expression that the word came out as quick as it did.
And clear.
And it was the second that I held it up, it said that number. So that was definitely something that we're going to use on more and more investigations. But an intelligent response, somebody watching us and responding in a second like that is pretty impressive. The next clip here is actually something we thought was a noise originally. Remember, Kenny thought he heard curtains or something. He kept saying,
We're trying to debunk what it was.
I heard a sound, and it was right when we were doing an EVP session,
yes.
right?
Yep.
And we decided to go back and listen to it again over and over, and upon review with the headphones on, turns out
it wasn't just a sound, it was actually a voice.
And what was it responding to again? Do you remember what the question was?
All I know is that somebody banged something
Right.
and someone said, ouch. Tanya had asked a question,
Right.
and then an answer came out.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to watch that clip.
Whoever's here, can you tell me what year it is?
There's a noise.
That was it.
That was it?
How many dice?
So you hear the sound, and again, first we thought it was a sound curtain or something like that, and then again, upon review, there is a voice there, and we're going to play that one more time so you can hear it.
Whoever's here, can you tell me what year it is?
There's a noise.
That was it.
That was it?
How many dice?
So again, you heard what the question was.
Yeah, she was asking if you could tell us what year. She wasn't saying, will you tell us what year it is? Said, can you?
Can
And
you
it
tell us
said
what year it
yes.
is? Again, an intelligent response, and it's rare to have that kind of interaction in most buildings we've been to. And we had a female that said the number 6 right there, and then that was a male voice saying yes, all down in the basement. And if you listen to the claims, multiple spirits. They said different on every floor. That was the impressive thing. When you hear that, you kind of think maybe this is just a story. We've heard that in every building we've ever been in, but in this building, it's true. I mean, we experienced something on every floor, and it wasn't the same spirit, it seemed, responding to everything.
It seemed to get more intense as the night went on,
Yeah,
too, which is usually the opposite.
Right. And you'll see in future clips that somebody gets annoyed with us, and they make that known later on. This is another clip with the Echovox, again, the app that could say words. I'm sitting at the table again, and I figure, let me ask a question. Let's see if they can see us and if they're watching us. I ask, how many people are here? Now, there was myself, Chris, Tanya, and Kenny. And you'll hear what sounds like a female voice kind of chime in. It's ineligible. You can't really make out what she says. But if you listen closely, you're going to hear the male say a response. He's going to respond to my question. Let's show that clip. How many people do you see here right now? Could you tell me that? How many?
Is it 4?
Four. Did you hear 4?
It sounded like it.
Like 4.
Yeah. See, that's the beauty of having people with really good ears, because Kenny is one of those guys that just hears everything. And I did hear the response. I thought I heard the 4, but he actually said it exactly as it was said, like 4. And again, this is an intelligent response. There's 4 of us in that room. So something, more than one probably, was down there watching with us and actively communicating with us, which is really impressive for any building. And we're going to play that clip again so you could hear the like 4 response. How many people do you see here right now? Could you tell me that? How many?
Is it 4?
4.
Did you hear 4?
It sounded like it.
Like 4.
Yeah. And to me, that's really impressive. Again, the basement is not original to the building, right? They dug it out at some point for the bar. This was later on. I can't remember what year it was.
I believe they added that on.
But the type of activity they have down there, we were just surprised. There were other little areas. That's where the tunnel is that leads to the Delaware River, right? Isn't that where it leads to? Mm-hmm. And it just, you get the feeling down there. As soon as you go down there, there's not a lot of electricity in the building. There's only so many outlets that work. But you go down there, the only light is by that table in the back where they play poker. And I got the feeling, as soon as I was down there, as like eyes on you type of thing.
Well, the energy changed.
Right.
And you couldn't see from this, but behind that, you go back and there's a tunnel that goes to the back where they had the original, where they stored the illegal alcohol, and that's where the tunnel is. And then that back area over there where they have actually a really old refrigerator that sits back there.
And they have the fireplace down there, and that's where Loretta said she saw the shadow figure.
All the shadows are
back there. And she said, again, another instance of multiple spirits. The shadow figure that she saw was short.
It's a child.
She said they think there are child spirits there as well. Again, lots of different levels there. Now we're going to move to the second floor. Interesting clip. You want to cue this one up?
This is the one with
This is the anomaly.
Oh, the anomaly. This is interesting. There's actually, like they said, this is conjecture, and this is the tub. And they say that the big thing, and they actually have it on this TV show, Paranormal Lockdown, with Nick Roth, is that the people have to go when they go there and go in the tub and sit, because they said they feel like they're being pressed down. Some people said they feel like a knife that's going, like their neck is being slit. But everybody says there's a feeling once they get in the tub that they feel. So we had actually reenacted it, and nothing happened at that point in time. But funny enough, when we walked away from the bathroom, we let the camera roll. Something strange happens that we can't explain, that comes from the tub out through. Towards the camera.
Let's play that clip. Okay, and here's the thing. We always talk about orbs, as being dust or bugs. I'm a big believer of that. I tell anybody who listens. What came out of that tub was sort of like a piece of cotton or something, and it comes from the tub up and towards the camera.
But the funny thing is that if you watch it again, because you're going to show it again, there's also, when that is coming up out of the tub, you're so focused, there's actually another light anomaly that follows right behind it.
Okay,
that you see in the
watch
tub.
that clip again. So again, the way that came out of there and came towards the camera, a bug would have been all crooked and going in all different directions. Dust probably would have went up and down on an angle. That appeared to be something different, an anomaly.
Yeah.
You want to take this next clip here?
This next clip it's also taken from that camera in the bathroom, and it's actually a voice, but there's a story behind that too. We're actually in Mary's room.
Which is probably three
It's right down the hall from that. It's directly down the hall,
Right.
so it's a nice little cut around. But we're in that room, and we're all making reference to the fact that we've been told by the paranormal person and the historian that Mary had a soldier that she hid up in that room, and the conjecture was, ha ha ha, hid.
Yeah, wink, wink.
We're kind of making funny,
She hid,
like
right.
you're hiding someone up here. And you actually turn to me, I'm sitting in the chair behind you, and you say to me, I thought you just walked by me.
Right, I remember
and you said
that.
the shadow had gone by you, and you're going out of the room, and you're trying to continue to follow where the shadow went,
Right.
and then this voice actually comes from my camera.
Okay, let's see the clip. And the voice says, stay.
Yeah.
And again, this is something upon review that we heard that we didn't hear live, and it sounds like a creepy male
And it
voice.
was really like, stay.
Yeah,
it was like an order.
Let's watch the clip again so you can hear the voice. So the next clip here is probably one of my favorites. Again, male voice, you know what this clip is. Set the stage for this one because I don't remember completely what was being said there.
I think we're continuing on the same line of talking about the soldier in the room, and I guess because it got irritated with what we're talking
Right.
about and it felt disrespected, it actually came back with a comment.
And let's watch that clip. What's interesting about that clip is that if you listen closely, the first the voice kind of whispers, mock me. And then the second time it felt like it had to make its presence known. It says, mock me.
I was angry.
Let's play that clip again so you can hear it. And that was a creepy clip. I mean, when I heard that live, it kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies
the first
a
time
little
I heard
bit.
it, I kind of took the headset off.
This next clip here was a static camera in an empty room on the 3rd floor. It's just someone telling us to shh. Let's play that clip. There it is again, just an empty room, listening back upon review. Let's play it again. This next clip here is actually, we finally got some validation about Robert from Mary, asking if Robert was killed, and that 360 device reacts to that question. Let's see the clip.
So Mary, Robert, your husband, was he killed? There, look, the 360 is going off.
Oh, it is. John, did you see it?
Yeah.
Your husband, Robert, he was killed. Right over there in the Delaware. Yep.
Yep, actually it's pointing right to the river.
And for our final clip here, this is again one of my favorites. We're up in the bordello, and I'm actually making a joke about a pimp. I meant to say Huggy Bear, and I said Sugar Bear, and I said I had money. This light anomaly flies right around me and then goes this way. Let's play that clip.
I got a lot of money on me. I'm gonna have some fun. Where's Sugar Bear?
Thank God I did not take the whole thing.
And there it is. You see it fly around me real quick? Let's play that clip one more time so you can see it fly around me. Same size, same shape as the other one.
I got a lot of money on me. I'm gonna have some fun. Where's Sugar Bear?
Thank God I did not take the whole thing.
Now, the funny thing about that floor, I don't know if you remembered, but after this point, I shut off my camera and I walked away to go pick up some equipment that was behind us that we used in the doorway to see if any motion or anything. My camera was actually thrown across the room and it actually broke the top of the tripod.
I do remember that. And again, those light anomalies, they're just the way they act and how they come in, and that spun around me. Just again, it's not something a bug or a piece of dust would do. That's something totally different, in my opinion. But all in all, that building did not disappoint. It lived up to everything I had heard, which few buildings do. Definitely want to go back in there again with more equipment, for a longer period of time.
We had a lot of, we had footsteps, we had creaking stairs, we had doors closed. We had a lot of different evidence that we just didn't have time to show.
A lot of clips that we couldn't show, and definitely one of those buildings that in New Jersey, I would say is definitely one of the most haunted buildings that we've been in New Jersey.
Well, Loretta and Dawn do events with Paranormal.
Right, they do events where paranormal groups and people could even go there and investigate.
And this is why they're trying to restore. They finally put it on the Register of History, and they're trying to save this building because it's like the roof is leaking and everything has to be done just right. So they're trying to raise the money for it.
But a great building, definitely worth visiting. We'll be back there again, I'm sure, a few more times. Thank you for watching this episode of New Jersey Paranormal. We'll see you next time.